We mix traditional and sort of more modern or contemporary ideas with our boy talks. We don't want it to be just one of those stand up in front, get introduced, we're standing there in uniform, and everybody goes, oh great, somebody in uniform came to see us at lunch. So we start the week off with some yard signs. We put those around all the entrances. We get permission from the school to have them near the entrances. So kids on the bus see, hey, Cub Scouts, something's going on with Cub Scouts. And the parents that are bringing their kids see it's Cub Scouts. So they know something's coming, and they send their kids to school going, hey, there's Cub Scouts, so you want to be a Cub Scout, so bring the paperwork home. So one of the things I do is I enter the room at the school for boy talks, is I wait out in the hall, I get introduced, and then I walk in with my helicopter. And this is a radio-controlled helicopter. The kids look at it and go, wow, there's an adult that plays with toys, he's got to be cool. So I come walking in, this flies in the middle, and I don't go straight to the stage. I don't get a microphone. I walk right out in the middle of the children. I stand in the middle of the room, and I land my helicopter just like I did in my hand, and they're all like, I want to fly it, I want to fly it. And I said, can I talk to you guys first? And then they're like, well, yeah. They don't know whether they're going to fly it or not at that point, but they're going to let me talk because they want to think they can fly it. So that's how I immediately bond with the kids. So now I'm not just some person who showed up in the uniform. Once again, I walked in with a toy. He's got to be cool. But it leads to a conversation that this is my hobby. I fly, well, it's big radio, little bitty helicopter, but I fly great big airplanes with this radio. I bring along a box. I don't get everything out at once. I bring along a box, and one by one I talk about our year and what is a typical Cub Scout year, what's involved in it. And we talk a little bit about our biggest event of the year, which is the Pinewood Derby. We also talk about our rocket derby race. So we talk about how much fun it is to build your own rocket. This is one of my sons. It was his Tiger Year rocket, so I always bring it out because it was the first one we made. It went exactly 4 feet down the track and stopped. We don't always win, we don't always lose, but we have fun making it happen. And then the last one we do, we talk about our rain gutter regatta. This one happens to be our Sea Dog boat. We built this boat backwards, and I talked to the kids about how a boat normally goes forward, but we found out that making it backward made it go a little straighter. We tell them how it's a very light wood and they can shape this at home. And lastly, you know, we talk about competition, but we make sure we spend a little bit of time about kids doing their best. But we also want to talk about what happens when you exceed, when you do beyond what other kids' best may be. You have a chance to get something like an award. So this one happens to be the award for a first place within our Pinewood Derby, but I usually bring along a trophy for that everybody gets. So there's participation awards for every single kid. And if you're going to be up there in an adult, you don't want it to be a dry session. And we have to remember that when we're talking in a school, we've not only have boys, but we've got girls. It's lunch hour. So if we just sit up there and talk about, hey, Cub Scouts is great, boys, you'll go camping, you'll do this, you do that, the girls are like, yeah, whatever. But if you've got stuff interacting back and forth, and again, at the end, they always want me to fly the helicopter one more time, it just changes that bond relationship. And the other thing I do that's really different, as I said, we mix old and new. We have some contemporary ideas and we have old school ideas. When I was a kid and I was in Cub Scouts, whenever we had a pack meeting, we wore our uniforms to school. Don't see that much anymore. So what I started, actually it was in the roundup last year when we had about 34 people sign up. It was an incredible roundup. We had every boy wear his uniform to school. It was a Cub Scout. Everybody who's in Cub Scouts stand up. And now you're talking about a lunch group. So it's one grade at a time. And when you see 15, 20, 25 kids in second, third grade standing up, everybody goes, I want to be part of that. I thought it was just this geeky little club. No, all my friends are in it. But they have no visibility to who's in Cub Scouts without the uniform. So that one day in the spring and one day in the fall, we ask the boys to wear their uniform. We know the signs work because that gets the parents to recognize we're going to be there. We've got phone numbers on the signs. We send home the typical flyer, but we all know those get lost or they get forgotten. But when the kid goes home talking about how this guy came in today from Cub Scouts and he flew a helicopter and Dad, I want one, or Mom, I want one, that gets the message that, hey, there's a piece of paper I'm supposed to give you. So we want to bring that memory up when they come home and start talking at dinner about what happened at school today. Oh, wait, I'm supposed to give you this. Big difference. For me, you got to go up there and love doing it. It's 2 hours of my day, you know, twice a year to go in there in the lunch hour and spend it with these kids. So it's got to be fun for me too. And so I take my helicopter in, and Dr. Bell comes running in the room. Hey, I hear you got the helicopter. Come here, I want to see that thing fly. And we're out in the hallway flying this thing around. That means the teachers are interacting. They know that we're there, and they're very supportive of the fact we're there. Now I do the same thing when I go in and sit down with the kindergartners. I go in the classroom, I sit down with them, but I do it more, it's closer. So we're sitting there one-on-one, and we generally just have the boys come up front, and the girls are allowed to come up too, but they sit in the back. But we get a lot more closer interaction with the kindergartners because those kids don't know anything about Cub Scouts yet. They know our pack meets there. Our kids have helped clean up the school every year. We do a cleanup day. So it was zero problem getting in there and doing the lunch sessions. And the kindergarten teachers all know me now because I've done it every year for the past 4. So they, oh, you're coming in. Dr. Bell will be walking home. When are you coming in and doing the Cub Scout thing? So yeah, we've got them pretty well trained to be used to asking when we're coming rather than us asked to beg for the room.